regards to my production diary, ever since I kind of got all my footage, I was planning on collecting a lot of like my production diary and then just producing one big blog. However, like the footage I've done after like a week, I felt like I didn't go into enough detail for it, so I thought I would start from when I finished filming and then I'd just speak about like from up to now. So if I'm gonna talk about filming, I did like a little like production diary, but I think I want to go into more detail. So when I was filming, it took me like 2 nights to film, and that was because I wanted to film at night and I just didn't have enough time to shoot like all the scenes in just one night. So I used 2 nights. And the first night I basically did one scene which involves like the fridge scene and some tracking shots. And the fridge scenes went well. There were some challenges I faced because I had to get like the lighting right for the fridge when it opened on my actor's face. So I put a torch inside the fridge to try and aid the light and kind of make it more dramatic, I guess. And also, you know, it was quite difficult having my actor. She had to lie there and keep her eyes open, and quite a few times she did blink. So that did take quite a few shots. And then when I filmed my tracking shot, I filmed a lot of it like my actor walked through like this house, but in the beginning like it's very dark and low lighting. And I wanted low lighting, but it was too dark. That the quality was way too like pixelated. It was quite bad. So the next night I wanted to reshoot that tracking shot along with the other shots I was planning to film that night. So I'd say the second night was probably my hardest night filming because there was just quite a lot of challenges faced. The first one I'd say was kind of trying to maintain that like idea of being professional with the actors. A lot of them, especially my mom, didn't take it quite as seriously as I would have liked, and I guess, you know, when you're having your family as actors, you're not really like getting the best performances, so it was hard to work with that. But I tried to give as much like helpful notes as possible and try and like just at least capture the tone of the scene that I want to capture. Also another part of the dining room scene, which was the scenes that I'd filmed the second night. One of them is, one shot is a shot of my mom with her throat slit, and I bought some fake blood and I put it on the table. One of my concerns was that it would stain the table. So I guess in my mind I kind of had one chance to do this one shot, because if it did stain the table, obviously I couldn't do the shot again. So it was challenging. I had to try and just set the camera up. By that time my other actor had left, so I kind of had to sit in place of that other actor. So I kind of let the camera play, and then I had to like, it was an over the shot scene and I had to use one of my shoulders. So that shot was fine though, it didn't end up staining my table, but like just the importance was getting that one shot done in one take. And then moving on to like the tracking shots, I had 2 tracking shots in my opening scene. The first one I tried to film the first night, but it was too grainy and the quality was quite bad. So I reshot it again, and that took I think like a couple tries, just because I really wanted to get like the lighting correct, and you know, it always looks different from the camera, sorry, then onto like a screen. So I just really wanted to make sure that everything looked good. And then I had a second tracking shot, which was more complicated because there are more like steps to it. I had to have like actors come out at certain points, and I placed like tape on the floor as like markings of like where they should stand. So I just really wanted to get like the continuity. So like altogether the filming process was challenging, definitely, and it was definitely a step up from my preliminary task, especially because the order of filming took over 2 days, which means that like I really had to schedule which shots I wanted to film on certain days. I think I did that pretty well. I organised my filming schedule pretty well. And I guess moving on from filming, I kind of like had to look at like editing and like checking my shots and checking if they were all like okay to use. And so, because obviously I had to refilm that tracking shot in the beginning. Having looked at that after I filmed it, I kind of needed to like check all my shots if like I was happy with them. And so like the same night or the night after that, I had got all my footage. I kind of put it in like a very like terrible rough cut, just to see how they all looked. And it definitely needs like the help of like editing, which obviously I'll do that on Premiere Pro, so that's gonna be much more helpful than like iMovie. But yeah, so I put together that rough cut just to see like if everything like kind of went smoothly and it all like was quite continuous, I guess. And I suppose like some of it was, there are some scenes that are just a bit what's the word, like a bit out of place. They feel a bit yeah, kind of like distant to the other shots. And looking back on it, I did have a problem with focus of the shots, because some of my shots weren't focused properly, which I was considering reshooting them because of that. But then I kind of did some research and looking like how you can like refocus like a shot without having to refilm it. And one of the first like suggestions that came up was like a video on Premiere Pro. So I figured that when I'm like editing my footage, obviously, that I will look at kind of trying to add the focus into one of the shots. I think the video talks about like editing like the sharpness, and it just kind of gave a tutorial. And I thought that would be more better for me if I could show that I edited my opening scene in more than just like joining the clips together, but like editing like the specific shots themselves, because you really can't do that on iMovie. Another aspect of editing that I was thinking about was the music. When I was storyboarding this opening scene, I always had in mind like if I kind of want to rise the tension, I would have this like sort of like dull, like low bass noise just continuously through this my opening scene. I thought it would create tension, be kind of off-putting and unsettling. So just trying to find that specific like noise was actually quite difficult. In the beginning I was searching for like white noises, but that really wasn't what I was looking for. And in the end I think I just looked up on SoundCloud like low bass noise, and it had like some available. So looking at what I'm kind of looking at now is I'm paying more attention to my critical questions. Looking at the first one, I'm thinking about like ways I can kind of display these critical questions and answer them. And I only really have access to Premiere Pro on the school computers, so I've taken kind of a week to board at school just so I have more access to these computers, and hopefully I can get my editing